I'm realizing that I don't think I put my stamp on that one, so let me go back and do that. Okay. Getting to the bottom of this stack. My Ex the Antichrist. I actually did start reading this one. I love Craig DeLuey. I've read a couple of books by him. I read Suffer the Children and Children of Red Peak, and I loved them. I also read, I think, How to Make a Horror Movie and Survive. Yeah, anyway, great writer, definitely horror, and like kind of a naturalistic writer, like it feels very believable even though it's horror, and it's often like very extreme, crazy horror. Lily Lawler and Drake Morgan form a punk band. Drake inspires faith in some, fear in others. Lily is a believer. At the height of her stardom, Lily walks into a police station, confesses to murder. Now the band has refused to talk to the press about their riotous past, Lily's confession, or anything else. It's been over a decade, but Lily has finally agreed to an interview and the band is following her lead. Anyway, so this is definitely one that I'm going to read soon, because it seems very cool, and I like the writer a lot. I got this one, obviously, because I liked Babel. I also, of course, had to get it for the beautiful edges, and also beautiful end sheets. Very cool. I got a little bit of a discount on this one because it was slightly beaten up. But like the thing is, I don't care if my books are in good condition or not when I buy them. Mostly I buy secondhand anyway, from my local used bookstore. This is probably going to be sooner rather than later read, but I'm gonna put it in my later, and then if I get to it, I get to it. But that's kind of the plan. Okay, this is another horror book that I picked up recently. It looked super cool, Blood Slaves, and it looks like in the province of Carolina, 1710, freedom seems unattainable for Willie, his beloved Gertie, and for their unborn child. They live, suffer, and toil under their brutal master, James Barrow, whose grand plantation was built by the blood, sweat, and tears of the enslaved. To free this hell on earth is to be hunted and killed, until one strange night Willie is offered a dark hope by Rafazi, an enigmatic slave with an irresistible and blood-chilling path to liberation. So Rafazi is, or seems like he's a vampire, and is going to free people by offering them vampirism. But it's a really cool concept, and I got this right after I had watched Sinners. So I was having a good time with vampirism and like southern vibes. Anyway, I love the design of this book. I mean, I just showed you a chapter opener, but like it's so beautifully designed. I'm very excited about this one. Putting that in the more soon to be read pile. Did I put stamp? Let me see. I always try to put the stamp on the page that has the least on it, so I'm not ruining the book in any way. Okay. The Lost Village. This one, documentary filmmaker Alice Lindstedt has been obsessed with the vanishing residents of an old mining town dubbed the Lost Village since she was a little girl. In 1959, her grandmother's entire family disappeared in a mysterious tragedy, and ever since, unanswered questions surrounded the only two people who were left. A woman stoned to death in the town center and an abandoned newborn have plagued her. She's gathering a small crew of friends in the remote village to make a film about what really happened, but there will be no turning back. Not long after they've set up camp, strange things begin to happen. Equipment is destroyed, people go missing. As doubt breeds fear and their minds begin to crack, one thing becomes startlingly clear to Alice. They're not alone. They're looking for the truth, but what if it finds them first? Come find out. This one seems like it's going to be very fun, so I am going to read this one sooner rather than later. It also seems, based on the cover, that it's probably a pretty good wintry novel. You know, it's like a kind of gray. Seems fun, so sooner rather than later. Okay, news. Boggy, stop! I'm trying to record a video. My other cat. Tom Holland, Slave to Thirst, and Lord of the Dead. They are both about vampires, and I believe they're both about Dracula. Oh, this Lord of the Dead is the one that I was really excited about. It's as if Lord Byron is a vampire. It seemed really fun. I was listening to a podcast on Lord Byron, and I think it was Tom Holland's podcast actually, and he recommended his books, obviously, so I decided to get them and try them out. This is probably one of the ones I'm going to get to later rather than sooner, because the writing doesn't seem quite my thing, but they should still be fun. Okay. The Sirens. I've seen a lot of hype about this online as well. This is by the same person who wrote Wayward. And one of the things I love about her books is the cover design. It's very beautiful. But this one is in the same style as the other one. Oh, I forgot I got a card. I got a really pretty card. I guess I'll use it for Christmas. But in the style of Wayward, which is about witches, this one looks like it might be about sirens, and I'm really excited. So that one's definitely going on my to be read list. I'm not going to not read it, but it will probably be read later rather than sooner. Bog, if you knock over my camera, Boggy, come here. You just like sit with me instead of trying to interfere with my camera. Okay. I tried. Okay, our share of the night. A young father and son set out on a road trip, devastated by the death of the wife and mother they both loved. United in grief, the pair traveled to her ancestral home where they confront the terrifying legacy she has bequeathed, a family called the Order that commits unspeakable acts in search of immorality. Incredible. Argentina is where this is set. It looks pretty well designed. Very fun. Cool graphics. I think this will probably be in the later rather than sooner category, but only because I have a lot to read. And this one, let's read the first opening line and see if it convinces me. There was so much light that morning and the sky was so clear, its warm blue marred by a single white smirch, more like a plume of smoke than a cloud. It was already late and he needed to go, and that hot day was going to be just like the next. If it rained and he was hit with the river's humidity and the stifled Buenos Aires heat, he would never be able to leave the city. I don't know. It didn't convince me, but it will be there in my pile whenever I get around to it. The Vampire, The New History. Nick Groom traces the origins of the vampire. This is probably a non-fiction, just about vampire literature. Yeah, it's just a kind of a guidebook to vampires, their history, and the literature surrounding them. It should be fun. I just got it because I'm interested in vampires. I don't feel like this is one I need to read like super soon, or maybe ever. I'll just probably reference it from time to time. Okay. Where the Dead Wait. This is another kind of wintry one. Takes place in the Arctic. But I feel like I read the beginning and didn't really like it, which is why it's in my to-be-read list instead of having been read. Let's see. Starts off with a quote from Frankenstein, which is good. The smell hits Day in the face. Crouched in the hut's narrow entrance, he tries not to heave. He can't afford to bring anything up. His last meal was boiled boots and lichen, supplementing the last of their rations. He presses a hand against his mouth. Grimy, his skin shriveled and yellowed, it looked more like a claw. All the fat has melted off of him, even kneeling hurts. He's only 24, but he might as well be 4 and 70. He knows he won't see another summer. This one, I think I'm going to put in my soon-to-be-read pile, because that is very exciting. And since it's winter, I'm always convinced by cold, wintry, snowy books, so an Arctic novel sounds fun. Okay, last in this pile, Anno Dracula. I was definitely convinced by the coolness of this book. Cannot lie. It is signed by the author. Very cool. Oh yes, I forgot. I got this at Shakespeare and Company in Paris. Yeah, that's fun. There's a very long series of Anno Dracula books, which is great. Adding my stamp to the Shakespeare and Company stamp. Let's see. It is 1888 and Queen Victoria has remarried and taken as her new consort the Wallachian prince infamously known as Count Dracula. His polluted bloodline spreads through London as its citizens increasingly choose to become vampires. In the grim black streets of Whitechapel, a killer known as Silver Knife is cutting down vampire girls. The eternally young vampire Genevieve Dudon and Charles Beauregard of the Diogenes Club are drawn together as they both hunt the sadistic killer, bringing them ever closer to England's most bloodthirsty ruler yet. I don't know. I'm probably not going to read that one very soon. The book was really pretty and it convinced me, but I don't know. One Dark Window. This is another one that's had a lot of hype. I got it because I saw it on Book Talk a lot. It was recommended on a lot of different book platforms. I'll get around to it eventually. Elsbeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. I'll get to it. I promise. I'll get to it. The House on Vesper Sands. London, 1893. High up on a house in a dark, snowy night, a lone seamstress stands by a window. So begins the swirling serpentine world of this Victorian-inspired mystery. Story of a city cloaked in shadow but burning with questions. Why does the seamstress drop from the window? Why is a cryptic message stitched onto her skin? And how is she connected to a rash of missing girls? All seem to have disappeared under similar circumstances. I wasn't thinking that I was going to read this, but it's described as a thrilling gothic mystery, and I cannot resist a thrilling gothic mystery, so this is going in my soon-to-be-read pile. I really should have done this a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't. Okay, let's see. Masters of Death. There is a game that immortals play. There is only one rule. Don't lose. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, that is pretty. That's really pretty. Okay, let's see. Viola Merrick is a struggling real estate agent and a vampire, but her biggest problem is that the house she needs to sell is haunted. And the ghost haunting the house has been murdered, and until he can solve the mystery of how he died, he refuses to move on. Fox DeMore is a medium, and although he is most definitely a shameless fraud, he isn't actually without his uses, seeing as he is actually the godson of death. Yeah, I'm convinced. Glad I got this book. It seems super cool. I'm probably not going to get to it for a while. Ooh, the back. Wow. Okay, but I will read this. I will read it. Just not soon. Bride by Allie Hazelwood. A vampire bride and an alpha werewolf form a dangerous alliance in this enthralling new paranormal romance. You know what it's about. She's also the author of Love Theoretically, etc. I haven't read any of her books before, but this one got a lot of attention, and it's a genre that I kind of like, so I'll get to it eventually. This is like probably I will never start it ever. Sorry. Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. I literally picked it up. I started reading it and I just went, oh god, this is so annoying. Let me read you the opening. Fran, squinting in the early afternoon glare, watched through her scratch binoculars as the man knelt to drink. The forest pool was dark and brackish, scummed with blooms of vibrant green algae. Skinny pine needles, bare branched for a good 20 feet under the canopy of needles surrounded it. The man's matty, filthy hair floated on the surface as he gulped down greedy mouthfuls, tilting his head back to swallow like an alligator horking down a fish. Yeah, and then they go on to hunt him. Kind of boring. Whatever. Weird concept. I'm not even gonna... Did I put my stamp on that? I don't even know if I'm gonna put my stamp on this. Probably gonna give it away to someone. If you want it, let me know. Maybe I'll ship it to you. The Mean Ones. This one. So what if Sadie hears talking dead animals and a strange, comforting male voice in her head? The therapist insists that these are just symptoms of PTSD, and it makes sense considering she hid under a bed and watched as her best friends were slaughtered. This one I really do want to read soon. It has a recommendation from Nat Cassidy, who is the author of Mary. He's one of my favorite horror writers, so this is definitely going to go on my soon-to-be-read list. Very excited about that one. Sundial by Catriona Ward. Of course, the author of The Last House on Needless Street, which was super messed up. I'm excited about it. I got a lot of books all at once from this author, and I just haven't gotten around to all of them. Let me read the opening and see if I'm convinced. It's the chicken pox that makes me sure my husband is having another affair. I find the first blister on Annie in the morning of the good one's party. She's in the bath and the window is a blue square of winter sky. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get to it eventually. I'm not super into it at the moment. Two more. Dead 11. On a creepy island where everyone has a strange obsession with the year 1994. When Willow Stone discovers the words Clifford Island written on the floor of her deceased son's bedroom, she's perplexed. She'd never heard of it, but she soon learns it's a tiny island off of Wisconsin Door County Peninsula, 200 miles away. Why would her son write this? She sets out to find the island. looks like kind of a mystery. I got it because of the cover. Like, look at that awesome cover. Super exciting. But R.L. Stine says it's chillingly creepy. You have been warned. So, you know, it's probably... Ishy! You're going insane. You're attacked by my cat. She's chasing a fly. I'll read it eventually. Man, that is becoming a big stack. And then lastly, the Hacienda. During the overthrow of the Mexican government, Beatrice's father was executed and her home destroyed. When handsome Don Rafaldo Solozano proposes, she ignores the rumors surrounding his first wife's sudden demise, choosing instead to seize the security that his estate in the countryside provides. She will have her own home again, no matter what the cost is. But the hacienda is not the sanctuary she imagined. So this is very creepy, mysterious, and probably very exciting. So I'm going to put this in my future to be read, but it's definitely up there, and I might read it sooner than other things. Okay, so currently, don't fall, oh no. Everything's falling. Okay. Currently, my soon-to-be-read pile is The Mean Ones, The House on Vesper Sands, Where the Dead Wait, The Lost Village, Blood Slaves, My Ex the Antichrist, God is a Bullet, Drive your plow over the bones of the dead, and the Impusia. So this is my more manageable stack. Very exciting. Okay. Let me know what you want me to read, and I'll try to get to it.